Welcome to our first We Are the Regeneration Solution session. My name is Angelina Vergara, and I'm the Stopway Schools Program Manager, and so happy that you're all here with us today. Oh, and borrowing this from our last session, but essentially it's the same community agreement. Why we're here today is we're creating spaces to share hopes, dreams, needs, and wants to reimagine our school communities, share stories of solution-based community action projects that authentically meet the needs to care for ourselves, our family, our community, Earth, create dialogue and space to explicitly and innovatively create solutions that lead to a caring and climate resilient world for all. And really just looking for thought partners and to remind ourselves we're not alone. And so we'll do a quick intro and then we'll go right into some story sharing of some of our youth champions who have been, helping share their stories of what they think are how they're part of the regeneration. And then we will have an exercise on doing one of the activities and sharing who you are and what ideas are coming up for you based on what we present. Our community agreements generally are respect, mutual respect, honor all voices, celebrate diversity, practice self-care, represent yourself, your voice matters, be brave, and create a brave space for others, share your knowledge, exercise culture of pride, reflect, please listen, journal, share, apply what you are hearing and learning to make your own action plan, reflect on your own energy as you participate and reflect what's giving you energy in the sharings, and right to pass, be an active observer. So feel free to pass if we ask you to do an activity. And just some reminders, again, we're only recording the first part where Christian and I are speaking. If you could put your pronouns on the Zoom, so mine would be Angelina, she, hers, in parentheses. Make sure that if you can to mute when you're not speaking. We recommend the speaker view, but it's also nice to see the gallery view. But speaker view probably is the best for the first 20 minutes. And if you need help, you can chat myself, Angelina Vergara in the chat, or Ariel Conway, or Christiana Aguilar. So we want to start with a land and labor acknowledgement and create this space, acknowledging that this is a lonely land. As we reimagine our future together, we acknowledge the wisdom, knowledge, and resilience of Indigenous people, healing and thriving from the attempted genocide and colonization of these lands. To do this, we begin our session with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we reside on a lonely land, and in reimagining our world, that we are also allies to restoring the rightful place. We will be doing an introduction exercise in the second half of today's meeting, but in the meantime, if you would like to share, your research on the native land that you reside on, go ahead and put it in the chat, and you can put your own acknowledgement in the chat, and we appreciate it. On the bottom here, there is a link. We can put it in the chat as well, native-land.california, and that helps you find where you may be located and what Indigenous land you might be residing on. So I'll put it in the chat, but to example, I live in Ohlone land. Also, I like to say the Lishan watershed, as I learned from Saborte Public Land Trust that the creek that I reside on is Lishan. So thank you for those who are participating. Okay. So we wanted to start with why we are doing the solution session, which is called We Are the Regeneration. Some of you may have participated, or some of you are here to learn. So for those who are here to learn, and you might not even know the story of how we, as a Stop Waste Schools program, started creating this new Earth narrative. And so a couple of years ago, our agency was really interested in looking at the climate crisis and climate resiliency. We knew that youth specifically were way more fearless talking about the climate crisis. So about 2 Decembers ago at Fremont, we brought our network together and we shared stories of climate resiliency, the intersectionality of environmental health, community health, and our own family and personal health. And we just started exploring that. And then COVID happened. And so when COVID happened, we knew we had to pivot because we were all, shelter in place specifically was March 13th, 2019, 2020. And we all were like, what are we going to do? We were gearing up for Earth Day. We were going to have an event in person in San Leandro. And we knew our champions were ready to take action to celebrate Earth Month. And that was where we're at. But we already had this platform called May the 4 Hours Be With You, where we leveraged the famous Star Wars May the Force Be With You on May 4th of May, and we made it May the 4 Hours Be With You. And it was kind of just a fun contest that we kind of played with. Christian made a meme about, he did a green meme training with our staff. And so we had so much fun as a team coming up with like cool Star Wars inspired 4 Hours theme. And so we had that digital platform. But what happened next was in March of 2020, one of our staff who was working with us on the climate literacy piece that we, what are we going to message to the county? And because of shelter in place, she did this video that we'll give you a link to, and it was called We Are the Regeneration. And the idea that she shared was, we're part of with the climate crisis and the health crisis and the social justice crisis, what these things are telling us is that we really need to shift our mindset. We need to go from potentially an extractive economy to what some people may call a circular economy or a regenerative economy. And we, as an agency, have been really good generally like supporting schools and youth and businesses and member agencies and cities to be like, hey, let's recycle, let's compost, which are super important. But we can't recycle our way out of these crises. And that was a very humbling moment for our agency where like, we really need to focus upstream. Like recycling is great, composting is great. We need that closed loop for the circular regenerative economy, but we need a new mindset. We need to rethink how we teach our students, reimagine how we look at schools, and how can we really get to this regeneration. And so we played with this concept in our first virtual Earth Day in April 2020, and we've continued on. And so Christian's going to share in a little bit how our youth have been slowly, just like we should be, sharing their stories of how they're part of the regeneration, and the stories will speak for themselves. But one of the things, sorry about the graphics for the typo, but one of the things that as an example and that we would love thought partners, we're not going to go into this completely, but this is a model, what we call the Bay-friendly schoolyard. And you can see these permaculture or holistic approaches to looking at schoolyards. Up here we have like recycling and learning together, starts with the soil, looking at water, etc. And that was definitely our focus. And what we want to rethink and what we've been doing with youth in the last 2.5 years is how can we reimagine the school? And so including more the built environment, the school building, really looking at curriculum, how do we support teachers, how do we support parents, and most importantly, how do we hear the voice of the youth so that they have a voice in how we relook at our schools and what we do. And with that, if you have any comments, I can do respond in the chat. But in the meantime, Christian, it's all you.
So what I'm going to be sharing today is a little bit of our videos that really talk about and put video to everything that we've been working on for the past couple of years, and specifically what Angelina was mentioning through We Are the Regeneration, and what we've been up to with students and schools and districts, as well as that idea of building out this platform of We Are the Regeneration to be able to connect with people. And
welcome students to the headquarters of the 4Rs Action League. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and rock is what we will explore today. We invite you all to join the journey with us and to take steps to protect planet Earth, waste less, and join our league. What makes this league special is all the amazing people that are a part of it. People like you and me that come together to learn. Our first step is to introduce ourselves and begin to explore some of the things we care about. My adventure began by creating my 4Rs Action League identity. As a member of the Action League, I am known as Christian Cantaloupe. Because I love to eat fruits and vegetables, they help me to stay healthy so I can continue to learn and grow. My love for sharing stories with my community and family has brought me to this very moment, to explore and protect where I live and the people I care about. Our community, planet Earth. The 4Rs Action League believes in you and in our collective power of one. We all have the power as human beings to create change. Let's come together and use that power to learn what we can do about waste. Just one act of kindness or planting one tree at a time makes a big difference. When we take action and waste less, our communities thrive, and together we are powerful. As we come together to work as one and contribute to a culture that centers taking care of where we live, we ask you to think about what actions you can take to waste less. Material sent to be landfilled is our community's waste. Each of us have an opportunity to reduce the amount being sent. Many families are continuing to educate others of the importance and impact individuals have in creating resilient communities. Let us radically imagine a just world where we protect people and the natural world. Let us nurture a thriving future together.
Reducing food waste is important because it helps our environment, and we all want.
Yes, so we have regeneration slides that we made as a class. We have 28, which is a lot. We won't share all of those, but we'll just share the ones. I have 7 students here in class now who would like to present theirs. Yeah, 7 of my students came. Yay, room 18. I'm telling you,
That's me.
Ardenwood really representing. Yeah, for Fremont. Thank you.
It's me.
Yes, Ardenwood, Fremont, California. So we also wrote petitions this year to practice activism, practice demanding change. A lot of what we need to do in the future will need a lot of support from government and everybody, right? So we also wrote petitions, and at the bottom of some of the slides are petitions, and my students might just click on their petition link and just give won't have to read the whole petition, but just kind of present it. And you guys, we would love it if you could join us and sign the petitions before we send it out to those politicians and other people of power. So did you find it? Did you find my name? We ready to go?
Yes.
Should I share the screen?
You should be able to now. Here we are.
Yay. We are part of the Regeneration. We did this on Earth Day back April 22nd. Ardenwood Elementary, room 18, Miss Friedheim's third grade class.
I am Nalaya,
Nalaya?
and I am part of the Regeneration. I helped Earth by helping to write a petition with my partner Yana to protect nature so people can stop cutting down trees and to start reforestation because animals have homes there. People like going there to see wildlife, and we get useful resources from nature. Okay, my name is Nandan, and I'm in room 18 in Miss Friedheim's class. Hi. So I wrote my 4 R's are reuse, rethink, respect, and rethink. So So basically, when we reuse, like people, when we get plastic bags, we can reuse them when buying them, or we don't even have to buy them at all. We can like refuse them. And when we go to stores and we see styrofoam cups, we can refuse them when people give them like at Starbucks or any store or anything. We can refuse them and get paper or plant-based cups. And we have to rethink before cutting down a lot of trees because trees help us to breathe and we need air to live on this earth. So only cut just little, like how much you need, or you don't even have to cut it all. So, and we have to do all of these different kind of things and respect the earth to help it be a better world for us to live in. Thank you.
Woo, Nadan.
Good job, Nandan. Thank you. Nice.
Great job.
May
Your arms be with you.
I am part of the Regeneration.
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 I reimagine our world.
I reimagine our world.
I reimagine our world.
I reimagine our world.
We are the Regeneration. We reimagine our world together. How are you part of our Regeneration?
Hi, everyone. My name is Beatrice. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm from San Leandro High School, and I lead the environmental club at San Leandro High School. And I am a swap youth leader today. I'm feeling happy to see so many people joining us today. I know climate change can be scary to think about sometimes, but it's nice knowing to be celebrating Earth together, the Earth together.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. I am joining you from Ohlone Land, also known as Oakland, and I attended San Leandro High School when I was a teenager, and I went to Wilson. So I went to school in Oakland and in San Leandro. So just really glad to be supporting the next generation. I am an artist. This is my art, and also this is my art. My art is about healing from the impacts of colonization and reconnecting to our beautiful Mother Earth. I grew up, I'm going to actually tell you my story. I'm going to tell you my story through art. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. And so what I love about actually the word regenerate is it means we're not here to extract. We're here to regenerate. How do we become sunflowers for the soil, for our friends, for our communities? How do we regenerate? How do we heal them? Because just like we need to heal the soil, we also need to heal our imagination, because our imagination has been polluted with things that make us feel less than. I mean, even this week, our beautiful minds have been bombarded with images of pain and trauma. And we need to be able to also recognize that we want to protect our communities and we need to celebrate life. We need to show ourselves as full human beings so that we are not seen as an exploitable class or as people whose lives people can just take, right? And it also, of course, means organizing, but also means that our minds also need positive, beautiful images like that nature gives us, because nature is really our source of beauty. This is one of my most popular pieces. Migration is beautiful. And I believe that nature teaches us everything that we need to know. You know, to think about, like, how are you creating? Creation is a powerful thing, and not creation just in a wasteful way, but in a way where you could help, move hearts and minds.
There are things we can do to create systematic change. You are doing it, we are doing it. We are reimagining how we care, serve, and preserve water and soil. Systematic change is also helping transform our mindset, like rethinking and reimagining our schools. Redesign them to teach us how to take care of the earth. Redesign them to promote collaboration. And literally redesign them to be spaces of community, answering our community's needs and answering how schools can be places that facilitate environmental stewards, not just tomorrow, but now.
Now that we've heard the problems, it is crucial that we reimagine our world and how we eat in it. Sustainability dinners are one way to bring the community together and to slow down the food process. Here are some pictures of a sustainability dinner hosted by the City of Fremont's FIERCE program in collaboration with Stop Waste. I was able to participate and prepare dinner with high school students in the county while learning how to reimagine how to use all parts of the food we consume. Stay tuned for a conversation about Food Shift at Lunch, an organization that has been working toward this for years. Next slide, please.
We shared stories of growing food at home with our families and how it felt like to go to community gardens in elementary school and how that felt like a field trip. Our dream is to create a biodiverse school learning garden that also grows food for our community. With the pandemic, we decided that our first step would be to utilize our science deck for a rooftop garden. Next slide, please.
We trained our San Leandro Eco and Science Club and presented to our teachers, community partners like Oraloma Sanitary District and Waste Management by sharing our knowledge we gained from the Bancroft Middle School Creekside Nature Garden. We talked on what we would like to grow, do, and learn. And at the center of it, we wanted to make our garden a place to teach others the importance of food and wildlife ecosystems to restore the earth and fight global climate change. At first, we thought of starting, or actually, skip that. Next slide, please.
We are reimagining our school campus with our community and is currently planning to do vermicomposting or worm composting and to grow edible food as well as other plants. This garden will demonstrate the scientific processes as well as serve as a model for gardens to inspire fellow community members to start gardening with the hope that we all collectively grow our food to share with our community. When redesigning with sustainability in mind, we reduce our carbon footprint and fight climate change. Next slide, please.
So one example of a school that's already growing food for the community is the Hoover Hawks Garden at a school in West Oakland. They have been providing food for the community every Monday and Friday since the pandemic started, and they've even formed connections with organizations like Common Vision that help coordinate the garden and assist with the distribution of the food to people. This is a great example of how schools can have a role in changing food systems and making communities more resilient. Next slide, please.
It is important to remember that we can all take action. In an extractive economy, taking action at home by growing our own food, teaching our neighbors, saving and finding new ways to consume are truly revolutionary actions.
And that's what we get to share for today. So really those were, where's my camera? A couple of examples of just young people coming together and really contributing and sharing their knowledge and skills to be able to collaborate and just create beautiful things. It's been a wonderful experience these past couple of years, and we had the opportunity to work with young people while they're at their homes, while they're attending school and in a place of work, right? So just a really good space to connect with people during a time of crisis and really just really talking about the intersectionality of like, how do you relate to waste and how can we support each other on things that you're motivated to take action upon. So with that, we'll continue with what we have on the agenda.
Okay, so what we have planned next is we would like to invite this group in that spirit of co-creating our new Earth narrative, our story together. And as you saw with all these great examples that Christian shared, is that that's what's so beautiful about this is everyone's putting their handprint into the story. And now we have this incredible vocabulary where it's like, how are you part of the regeneration? Rethink, redesign, revolution, any R that you can imagine or haven't imagined, our youth are bringing that to the table. And really thinking, we've been talking a lot about, thinking upstream. So, what can we do to prevent waste? What can we do to prevent this climate crisis? What can we do together to collectively really shift our minds with our youth and build this resilient culture for our youth and our children? So is any space for if you have questions or comments? And if not, we're going to go into our activity.